right, so it says, as you learned in the preparation assignment, it only takes one case to prove something is false. Show that the following equation is not an identity and discuss why. Okay. So to show that the following is not an identity, well, first off, the amplitude is wrong. One has an amplitude of 1, one has an amplitude of 2.
Right, this is saying that sine is equal to half of sine.
Yeah, and it's just like,
statement.
And then the period's off. The first one is, the period is pi, while the other one is pi over 2. Plus, they're not even using the same variables, which means those two variables could be completely different.
Yeah, true.
So, all right. Next one. Hopefully they're all that easy. The following problem guides you through answering the question. Find an equivalent algebraic expression for the following problem guides you through answering the question of find an equivalent algebraic expression for. Discuss each part and make sure you understand the process and can find and can answer the questions. In your book, you will find a different process, but we introduce you to how this type of problem is answered in calculus. So the question is, find an equivalent algebraic expression for sine of arctangent of x. For the given question, given, what are you looking for? So we're looking for that equation in terms of x without any trigonomic functions. And then it says, in your book, you will find a different process, but we introduce you to how calculus answers this type of equation. Given that x is a side length, then the output of tan of x is a radian. We begin by drawing a right triangle and labeling each part. So just find the third side. You can now find sine theta. This is weird. I don't know what they're trying to do here.
I feel like they're trying to teach us, but they're still asking for answers.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna look at the key, see what they're. All right. Given that x is a side length, the output of tan of x is an angle. So we begin by drawing a right triangle and labeling each part. X squared plus 1 equals unknown. X squared plus 1 equals c squared. C equals the square root of x squared plus 1. Find the third side. You can now find sine of x, which equals the plus minus x. Yeah, I don't see where they're going with this. I liked how they did it in the book. It actually made a lot of sense.
Yeah, just stick with that then. I mean,
yeah, it's like so.
Sounds like a hassle.
Yeah, it was like if we make tan of x theta, then tan of theta equals x. And so, and then tan equals what? Sine over cosine?
Tan equals. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. So they do like, I remember the book, it's like secant plus 1 equals tan. And then it's like, so secant plus 1 equals, actually, no. So you want to write this in terms of sine. Okay. I know it's like, I think you can go like cosecant plus 1 equals cotangent, which is 1 over x. And so you go cosecant equals 1 over x minus 1. And then you could do like, oh, sorry, cosecant squared equals x squared minus 1. And then cosecant is 1 over sine. And so you just like flip that around and go sine equals x squared minus 1. So sine is like the square root of x minus 1. Is that the same answers that they get? No, they have a plus 1. But yeah, I'm not sure how they did it or why they did it that way they did. I don't think the way I did was correct either, but it's like, okay, like make an angle and then draw a right triangle. Find third, like, what? It doesn't even give you a graph of this triangle.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking right now, and they don't give you the answers.
so I have no idea what this triangle is supposed to look like. So this is like ridiculously confusing. Is there anything like in like the prep that talks about this? That like
Not that I
shows you
saw.
an example?
No, this is new.
I didn't see anything about this either. And it wasn't in any of the lessons.
Yeah, there were only 2 videos associated with this lesson, and those were just, basically what we just went over. And then,
Yeah.
and then prep-wise, there's like that, just the basic algebraic worksheet.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, back to the following trigonomic expression. Factor it out. Okay, well, the difference of 2 squares is equal to a sum and a subtraction. So we have sine squared minus x, I'm sorry, sine squared minus cosine squared times sine squared plus cosine squared. Which sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, right?
Yes.
So that should theoretically just be sine squared minus cosine squared. Oh, but they don't simplify. They just factor it out.
Oh, okay.
And then the next one. Okay, cosine A tan A minus 2 cosine A minus 3 tan A. Okay. That's weird. How would you do this one?
Are they just expecting us to put it in terms of cosine and sine, you think?
We can try that.
Convert it to that. Never mind.
Let's see.
I just looked at the cheat sheet. I guess you leave 10 in there. So
Right.
it looks like,
Let's see. Tan is sine over cosine, right?
yes.
So technically it should be like sine minus cosine minus tan, but I think I would just make it more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So they factor out tan. So if we factor out tangent. So tan, and then we're left with cosine squared minus cosine. What's cosine divided by that? Cosine divided by cosine. Sine. That's weird. How did they factor sine cosine out? Because I mean, so if you factor tan out of cosine squared and 3 tan, you get cosine squared minus 3, but then you still have a minus 2 cosine off kind of to the side.
Right.
That isn't.
Yeah, I'm putting in terms of like just X and Y right now, trying to visualize this because it doesn't make sense to me.
Right. It's weird. Cosine squared. I just can't tan. Just cosine. Okay, so let's see. If this is right, then theoretically you have cosine x squared. I'll have tan. I'm kind of doing this reverse. Tan times cosine squared plus cosine minus 3 cosine, which would be minus 2 cosine minus 3. I mean, that would work if the middle expression also had a tangent term in it. So maybe it's just a typo that it doesn't have a tangent term. It's not 2 cosine A tan A, because if that had a tan A in it, then this would work, and the answer they give us would be correct. So I think that's just a typo. Because if you think about it, if it was cosine squared A times tan A minus 2 cosine A tan A minus 3 tan A, and then you factor out tan, and you're left with cosine squared A minus 2 cosine A minus 3, and then that factors out to cosine x minus 3 and cosine x plus 1.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So I think it's just a typo. It's annoying. Okay, well, number 4. Using the identities you have learned and the different strategies, verify the following identities. It is suggested that you spend about 5 minutes considering them individually, then work together to do the verification. This will give you the opportunity to formulate a plan on your own before being influenced by your team members' thoughts. So we can work on this and letting each other know when we're done and compare how we solved it. Does that work?
Sure.
Cool. Okay.
You done?
Yeah.
What you got?
So what I did was I looked at the sine squared times cosecant, and I know that cosecant is the inverse, is like the the reciprocal of sine. So when they're multiplied together, that equals 1. So then you get 1 minus 1, 0. And then so you're left with sine squared over cosine squared, which is tan squared.
Sweet. That's true.
So cool. What did you go for that one?
I started with number 3.
Oh, you started with 3?
Yeah.
How'd you do that one?
Is that one even true? I mean, can you even connect like the tangent to the cosecant?
Yeah, I think so. Here, we'll go on. We'll do number 2. Yeah, we'll both work on number 2 and just talk about how to do that one real fast, and then we'll look at number 3.
Sweet. So they said equal to 0. What does that mean?
Okay. Okay. So, are you finished with the second one?
Probably, if that's as far. Hold on. Well, I got sine x minus cosine squared x times 1.
Hmm.
That's the third answer.
Interesting. So what I did for the second one,
Mhm.
so the 0 equals cotangent x sine x minus cosine squared x secant x.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did was I wrote cotangent in terms of sine and cosine, and
Right.
that's cosine over sine. And so you multiply those together. Cosine over sine times sine is equal to just cosine. And then secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So it's like cosine times 1 over cosine squared times 1 over cosine, which is just cosine. And so you have cosine minus cosine equals 0.
Mm. Wait, were you saying that cosine over sine is equal to sine? Is that what you said
So
first?
cotangent is the equivalent of cosine over sine.
Yeah.
And then if you multiply that by sine, then it's just cosine.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I see what you're saying. Okay.
So question, what for number 3, I started working on that. What is the identity for tangent in terms of cosecant? Sorry. Cosecant squared. Oh, wait. So, yeah. Cosecant squared minus 1. What does that equal?
Hold on.
If I'm right, it should equal cotangent.
I can't find it anywhere, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Is that just one of like the standard identities?
Yeah.
Minus 1 equals 10.
Okay, yep. I was looking at the key. So, all right, so this is what I did for number 3. So I multiplied, I kind of gave it a common denominator. So I ended up with cosecant plus 1 over cosecant squared minus 1, because cosecant minus 1 times cosecant plus 1 equals out to cosecant squared minus 1.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other side, and it was minus cosecant squared minus 1 over cosecant, cosecant minus 1 over cosecant squared minus 1. And so the two cosecants canceled out each other. And then when you put it all together, you get 2 over cosecant squared minus 1. And then cosecant squared minus 1 equals cotangent, which is the reciprocal of tangent. And so it's like 2 times 1 over tan, or 2 divided by 1 over tan, or just 2 times tan. So you get 2 times tangent squared.
It's messy.
Yeah, can be. Well, this fourth one is going to look like it's the funnest one. All right, okay, here we go. First, let's simplify the negative x's. So we get 1, and then minus sine squared of x, and that's over 1. And then since cosecant is a negative, an odd function, negative x is equal to negative that. So we have 1 plus cosecant of x. That equals 1 minus sine, because sine's an odd function, x, over cosecant of x. So, dang. Now what do you do? I'm going to look at the answer key for this one just to get an idea. Ah. Oh, okay. So they're like, multiply the right side by 1 minus, oh, sorry, wait. What are you doing there? Okay, yeah, I see what they're doing. Okay, so they're saying like multiply the right side by 1 plus 1 plus sine over 1 plus sine, which is equal to 1. But that gives you 1 minus sine squared over cosecant. So 1 times cosecant is cosecant, and then sine times cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So sine times cosecant is 1, so plus 1. Which, there you go. Cool. Because if you write that out, it equals the same side. So you just kind of have to multiply each side by 1 plus sine over 1 plus sine, and multiply the right side by that.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, that actually works. That's cool. Alrighty then. Well, I think that's it.
Well, that was fun.
All
right.
right.
Well, you have a good day. I'll see you Thursday.
You too. See ya.